How about actually having a union guy as a Secretary of Labor? I tell you what, if you're going to be in a foxhole, you want Marty in there with you. Now, you may have trouble understanding when he starts talking about cow bonds and Zeta garages and he talks kind of funny, but he knows what he's talking about. I promise to be the most pro-union president in American history, and Marty's keeping me make that promise.
President Biden yesterday praising Labor Secretary Marty Walsh while speaking to union workers in Milwaukee. And Secretary Walsh joins us now. Mr. Secretary, we will not mock your Boston accent. Mike Barnicle would talk you through that if he were here today, but he's not. So let's get right to it. So when you're out there with the president, you're out talking to people, there's so much going on in the world right now, in this country, and the president of the United States is making the case about democracy as a fundamental question in these midterms. But at the end of the day, it's about jobs and it's about inflation, is it not?
It really is. It's about the economy, and it's about supporting businesses as well. You know, I think keeping our economy moving forward, creating opportunities. The crowd in Milwaukee yesterday was amazing, and they were pumped up, and most of them are union members, and most of them are working pretty steady. But, you know, our focus here and our focus should be creating more and more jobs for people, good paying jobs.
So, Mr. Secretary, on that note, the last jobs report came in at 315,000, which is just a smidge below estimate, but still another positive sign here. And the economy's basically regained all of its pandemic losses. As supply chain issues have eased, as inflation, the hope is, has peaked, where do things stand right now in terms of American workers getting a job? And why are so many businesses having trouble finding workers to take those jobs?
Well, the first thing is we don't have enough workers in the United States of America to fill all the job openings that are out there. Right now, at this moment in time, more Americans are working in this country than any other period in the history of America. So when you think about the amount of jobs and people that are working, it's a really incredible number. The problem is that we don't have enough people. There's about 5 million people, I think, still roughly that either looking for work or just not in the workforce for a whole host of reasons. You know, illnesses, child care, whatever it might be. So at some point, we're going to have a real serious conversation in this country about immigration and immigration reform. And when I talk to big business in America and I talk to businesses, every single one of them to a person says to me, we're going to have to think about this long term and how do we deal with these issues.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute because we have people conflating two different things. It seems to me, and I don't know why more politicians don't talk about this, we got people conflating the chaos at the southern border with illegal immigration and work visas. And who are the people that are hurt by this? Not hosts on podcasts or cable news shows that are screaming and yelling and trying to conflate the two, but small business owners, family restaurants, family hardware stores who can't get immigrants on 6-month work visas. Can you talk a little bit about that? And when people go into a restaurant in their hometown, a family restaurant, and half of it is dark because they don't have enough workers to seat half of the restaurant. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'll even add one more thing. Even some big businesses looking for engineers and businesses where there's no workers. And, you know, I think in this country, when you think about our economy, you think about our country, you know, there's two sides in immigration. We don't want immigration or we'd like to see legal immigration. The problem is in America, if we don't have workers to fill these jobs, it's going to hurt our economy overall. And if you have 6 million jobs, let's just play that number right now. Let's assume 6 million jobs that if everyone went to work in America tomorrow that was eligible or not even eligible, but they want to work, we have 6 million job openings. As you just said, it's going to hurt business in our country. It's going to hurt our economy. And in some cases, I think it's a bigger threat to our economy than inflation is at this point, than a recession, because we need to fill these jobs. And then with all that President Biden has done with the CHIPS bill and the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act, that's about creating more jobs, more manufacturing jobs. Companies are still growing in America. Businesses want to expand in America. And I think the elected officials officials, sometimes in Capitol Hill. What they do is they talk about the southern border, and that's immigration. That's not immigration. Immigration is what we've always survived on as a country. And really, it's thinking about how do we use immigration in a positive manner. If we had legal immigration into the United States of America, legal pathways into the United States, if we had pathways where people could apply for visas and come into this country for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, maybe 5 years, then we wouldn't have the challenges to the magnitude that we do at our borders in our country.
All right, U.S. Secretary of Labor Marty Walsh, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.